The epistle for this week is again from 1 Corinthians, Paul's letter to the church in Corinth. And there are three sections to this reading. Let's see if we can kind of tackle all three of them in one fell swoop here. So first, Paul's talking about stewardship. And actually, we'll come back to that last. So Paul starts it with stewardship, but then he starts talking about this idea of becoming all things to all people and serving people in all these different ways. And then he ends this particular passage that we read with this idea of running a race to win the prize. So let's actually start there just for a second. I'm a runner. I like to run. And, we kind of have this mindset in athletics that you compete to win. You play to win the game, a famous coach once said. So, you want to win. So how do we win with faith? Well, Christ has already won the victory for us over sin and death. Christ ran the race for us to the cross and to the empty tomb, that we would not have to suffer the consequences of sin and death, but instead we would have the promise of God, which is eternal life and forgiveness and salvation. So in response to that great promise, then we too take up the run, and we've already won the victory. Christ has won the victory for us. But here we get to run the race so that we can receive the prize. We do our best. We respond by trying to share the gospel with all people, to be all things to all people in order that Christ may be made known. So what does that have to do with stewardship? Well, here Paul is talking about preaching the gospel free of charge. So Paul is emptying himself. Paul is giving everything that he has to the cause of Christ, working as hard as he can to be all things to all people in order that some might be saved. This is exactly what Christ has done for us. Paul is following in the example of Christ. Christ emptied himself and took on human flesh that he might go to the cross and the empty tomb for us. And so we too, like Paul, in response to what Jesus has done for us, we empty ourselves and we become all things to all people with our finances, with our energy, with everything that we do. We serve our neighbor. This is what it means in Jesus' command to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and to love your neighbor as ourselves. So that's how these things fit together. Stewardship, using our resources, serving people in all sorts of different ways, however we can, and then also running this race to win the prize. We run with Christ, who has already won for us and won the victory for us.